Hey, I thought I'd do a review of the Republican debate. I don't know why, but I saw it and I was like, this is something I could do a review of. And basically, from what I've seen of the Republican debate and of the candidates, I would say, I'm not saying I'm voting for this person, but out of the candidates, however you want to say it, out of the ones that I saw, I would say Nikki Haley would be like the front runner because for two reasons. Well, actually, more than two reasons. I have a few reasons why I would say she's the front runner, especially after last night. Because before it was like, no, not really. Because when I found out her name was Nimrata and she was Indian, because I thought she was a white woman. And then like that was a turn off when I found out her name was Nimrata and she goes by Nikki and she doesn't go by Nimrata. But besides that, and I saw and then the fact that she has experience as a governor or whatever, and then she was like something else, like, I don't know, I'm not gonna act like I'm an expert. She was something else in like the government, like in the White House or something. I think she was like what is it? I don't know, one of those people, I forget what they're called. Let's see. Yeah, oh, she was the former South Carolina governor. Huh. And I thought she was a ambassador. I thought she was an ambassador or something. Yeah, but Vivek Ramaswamy, I don't know. I just felt he's stereotypical because as someone who spends a lot of time with Indian people and date a lot of Indian guys, he seems stereotypical, like that first, second generation Indian guy who's trying to like fit in, and he doesn't get his way and he freaks out and does like the stuff that he's done, and like with the Eminem raps and stuff, it's like all the turn off, and it's like, yeah, you're just not that American enough for me yet. And it's like Nikki Haley, I think she's like first generation, and it's like, I think as a first generation, even if she's second generation, and I think she comes from immigrants, and I think she's a great role model. And I think like as far as like the immigration and everything, I think she's a great role model in that sense. And to let people, no matter what race you are, if you're a minority, you're a immigrant, first generation, she is that person that can say, she's kind of like Obama in a sense. Because Obama, like on his father's side, he was first generation, but he came from I guess, a well-off white family from Hawaii. Because I think I heard that his like grandparents or something were like bankers or something. And Nikki Haley, I don't know what her parents did or do or whatever, but she became and I'm pretty sure she was an ambassador. She was a governor and all this stuff, and I'm just like, and she's a woman, so it's like you're empowering women, you're empowering all minorities and immigrants and everything. And then the other thing is, she came from people from a different country and everything, and she assimilated to American culture. Because I've never once heard her try and say anything where it's like, oh, people need to change, people need to do this, and it's like all for changing everything. But America, it's like different regions have different cultures. She's in the South, South Carolina. She adapted to the culture. She has the accent, the culture, and everything. And it's like, I'm not going to hate on her for not going by Nimrata, but it's like, you should have said like, hey, my name's Nimrata, I go by Nikki or something. Because it's kind of, but then again, like Bill Clinton, I heard his name was William, but he goes by Bill. And it's kind of like that, but So I can understand it. So it's like I didn't like it, but then when I put it in perspective, it was like, okay. But then Ramaswamy, it was like he just showed he was like that sleazy guy who's just trying to fit in, and then that'll screw you over later. When he went after her daughter, and it's like, yeah, you don't go after somebody's kid. It's so like for me, it was like the Eminem thing was a turn off. He went after her daughter. He just seems like he's just trying to dig his way in anywhere to try and win, and he just doesn't seem trustworthy and all that stuff. And that other guy, Tim Scott, he just seems annoying and fake too. And then I think he was talking about like blowing up a mosque or something, and I'm like, okay, no, that's going too far. And I'm like, nope, yeah, you're out there. It's like a group might do something bad, but I'm not Muslim or anything. I don't think it's okay to blow up any type of religious building or anything. I don't even think like gentrification, I'm okay with gentrification. I think a lot of places should be gentrified, but I think with like older buildings and stuff, especially when they're like nice older buildings and like classic stuff, like don't tear it down, like fix it up if it's falling apart. But yeah, no, I'm not okay with that because there could be innocent people in there. You never know what's going on inside. But I strongly disagree with that. So Ramaswamy, Tim Scott, and then I was kind of going for DeSantis, but then when he did the Disney stuff, because it's like I understand where he's coming from. He wants to protect children and all that stuff. Because it was like I grew up a huge Disney fan, love Disney, but now I'm watching some stuff and I'm like, okay, I'm an adult and I'm like, this is weird. I feel uncomfortable. Why are children watching this? This is strange when they're having like all of this stuff. And I feel like even though Disney, like when I was a kid, it was like male, female, straight, everything. You didn't talk about that other stuff. And I feel like they're pushing it on children where it's like weird because it's like, why are, when I was a kid, never heard the word transgender until a few years ago, all that stuff. But I knew other stuff. Like I knew the term transsexual and all that stuff. And it's like, okay, I get him in that point. But then when he went after like the government officials and stuff, and it was like, okay, yeah, like, no, it's like, what did they do? And then it was like, okay. And then I'm not sure if this was a part of it too, where they showed up at somebody's house when they were like on maternity leave. I watched the news. I'm not specific because I'm not looking at facts right now, but then I heard that. And then the migrant issue, I actually don't think that's all that bad. The migrant issue, it's like, if we can't help you, we'll send you somewhere where they're less stressed and we'll help you. And it's like, I feel the same way about Texas too. It's like, we're getting bombarded, we can't handle it. You offer to help, so we'll send you people there. You offer, now you want to back down once you start to get a few, but you're not dealing with nearly as much as we have. So it's like, be quiet, we're still going to send it because you said, you opened your mouth, we're going to do it. So I don't blame them on that. It's like, I agree with that. But then it was like the Disney stuff and the losing of the jobs and then like cutting their districts. It was like, okay, you want to stand up, but then cut their district where it's going to cost people more money and like cause like issues like that. I don't agree with that. And then I see like if he did something like that on a national level or got into the White House and had some issues. So I'm like, okay, you outed yourself. And then Chris Christie, I heard like a couple of years ago, I heard about like corruption or something. And then the fact that you were friends with Donald Trump and you turned on him and now you're running and you were like supposed to be like one of his people in his White House or whatever, and then you turn on him when things didn't go good. He was supposed to be your friend. You turned on him. And then also, you're supposed to be a representative of the United States. It's like, Trump is fat too, but Trump isn't as fat. Yeah, because it's like, I didn't vote for Trump. I'm there. But I will say, and the only reason why I wouldn't vote for Trump is because Trump takes credit for the vaccine. I can't vote for someone who takes credit for the vaccine. Also, I wouldn't vote for Biden because I wouldn't vote for someone who forced the vaccine on people. So Trump and Biden are out for me. I know I'm saying in like a lot, but oh wait, who else? Oh, yeah, and Chris Christie, he's supposed to be the look of the White House, because it's like every president, they ride a bike and they do stuff, and it's like, is Chris Christie really going to get on a bike? No. Is he going to go running and stuff? No. But Biden, he didn't go running, but it's like Biden's old. It's like, you're not going to do that, but it's like, he got on a bike. Don't do it. But I would say Chris Christie, you're supposed to give off the look of the American family, American dream, the American life. And America, where are you dealing with embarrassment about being like one of the fattest countries? And we can't have Chris Christie there because that's a representation of America. And then plus, he's a backstabber. And then I think he was involved in some kind of corruption too. And then he was close with Trump, so he probably knew about what was going on with all this stuff at some point. And he just showed he's untrustworthy, basically. Nikki Haley, I think out of the Republican candidates, she so far looks like the best one. And I think she's married to a military man too. And then what I liked best about her, when Ramaswamy went dirty and he went after her daughter, she was like, no. And then she called him what he was, slime. So I would say out of all the Republican candidates, the one that looks the best is Nikki Haley, unless there's someone else out there that wasn't involved in the debate. But just based on the ones that I've heard, basically, out of all of them, I would say Ramaswamy is the worst. Because he showed how low he is and everything. Because it was like, I thought you were like sad and everything when you're doing like the Eminem stuff. And then it's like, if somebody's like, don't play my stuff, I don't want to be associated with you, and you still do it, it's like, he doesn't like you. He's not supporting you. His fans aren't going to support you. You're trying to come off as young and fun. It's like, no, you're just coming off as a dork that people don't like, and you don't get it. And then DeSantis, I just can't vote for somebody that's gonna be president and they're doing like all that petty, bitter stuff. And he doesn't seem to play nice with others, and putting him on a national stage, no. And then the Tim Scott guy, he just seems like Ramaswamy too. Because Tim Scott, actually, they all just seem like messy and everything. Because like Nikki Haley, she was like, I think she was in like his White House as like an ambassador, but it was like she was never like, oh, I'm your best friend, I'm going as far as I know, and all this stuff like the others. Because like DeSantis and Trump, they have their issues. And I never really heard Nikki Haley say anything about the vaccines and all that stuff. And then one thing she did say that I liked, because I'm like a pro-lifer and everything, and the fact that she said, because it's like, I'm a pro-lifer, but not like one of those crazy ones. But I liked how she said, because it's like, I'm all for pro-life and everything, and if a woman's life is in danger and her death, and it's like all that stuff, to save her life if she chooses to. And I don't think if a doctor saves a woman's life, or if that woman was abused and she decided to make that choice not to go along with what's happening to her body, if she makes that choice. But when you use it as a form of birth control, I think that's the issue. It's like life-saving and abuse, I'm more okay with. But as a form of birth control, I think that's truly disturbing. And Nikki Haley, I would say, I'm not saying I'm voting for this person, but out of the Republican candidates, however you want to say it, I would go with Nikki Haley. Yeah. And I want to see a Democratic debate again. I haven't seen one in a bit. I don't think there was one that was just Democratic or whatever. Because as far as I know, the one that stands out to me that's running is Kennedy. And I would vote for Kennedy because I think there's a crisis in this country. I'm not saying I'm pro-vaccine, anti-vaccine, or anything. But I am vaccinated with like all the mandatory ones you have to take to go to school and everything. And then I had to get the one that was required by Trump and Biden. And I told my story about that and almost got me kicked off YouTube because it wasn't a good story. But I would say, as far as Democrats, oh no, he's only independent now. But on the other side, Democrat, anything else, independent, whatever you're running, I would say this debate made Nikki like up there, because I'm thinking Kennedy and Haley. And I think even if Kennedy was president and Haley was the vice president, I would be for that. I would think that would be a good match. I think, like, I don't get, like, when there's a president, vice president, like, if you're a Democrat president, I don't get why not have a Republican vice president, or if you're to have, like, both people in there and both sides and compromise on things you can do for both sides. But, yeah. And I'm not acting like a scholar or anything. I'm just going by the little bit that I know. And based on what I've heard, and I watch the news a lot, I would say, as far as this election, my top runners personally are Haley and Kennedy. Because I just think it's weird over time. Because I was doing some research and stuff. And when I was a kid, it was like, okay, people had disabilities and everything, but it wasn't like autism was around, like, where you saw it that much. Now it's like 1 in every something, less than 100 kids have autism or some other kind of disability. And then the fact that I've heard parents say they saw a change in their child after, it's like, why not just, I'm just push off the vaccines until they're a little bit older or something. I don't know. But I think there needs to be more research into that. I think Kennedy would get that done. And I think Haley would fight for women's rights. And I think she would fight for immigration too, but immigration in the right way. Because I think she's a great example. But then some people could say Kennedy's like a Nepo baby in that type of sense when they say that. I don't know if they say that in politics, because his whole family was political and everything. But what he's standing on, I agree with, generally, from what I've heard. And I don't think he'll make it mandatory again. I don't think they're gonna. I don't know. I don't think they're gonna make it mandatory again because how bad it went. But those are my choices. Republican, I think, who came out on top and looks like the front runner in the Republican whole thing is Nikki Haley. Yeah, because once I thought about it, because I was like, I can't vote for her because she goes by Nikki instead and doesn't even say anything about her name being Nimrata. But then I thought about it because sometimes I date a guy and it's his name. It's like, I'm not too sure about, well, it's like, I know your name, but it's like hard for me to say or forgetful. And I'd rather say something easier and then I give you a nickname. So it's like, okay, I get it. Because when I put it in that perspective, it was like, okay, I get you go by Nimrata. But, I mean, you go by Nikki, but it would be better if you just came out and said, like, your name, and then, like, but you can call me this, or whatever. So, I can say I'm a supporter of Nikki Haley. I'm a supporter of Kennedy. Those are the main ones that stood out to me and all the stuff that I've seen. So, we'll see how it goes. Hope you like, watch and subscribe. Every now and then I do stuff like this, but not too often. I thought it was an important thing to do. If you like, watch and subscribe. Bye!